Hello Floss Tube, this is Kathy. So this is my May whip update number part 1. May part 2 will come at the end of the month. So today is the 13th day of May, just Saturday. It is Mother's Day weekend here in the US. I'm actually really proud of my progress. I basically stitched every day this month. It was just a little bit, a couple stitches. That counts. One, every little stitch counts, as Katie the Stash Queen says. So, what I have in front of me, kind of liking the setup that I set up for this month. It works pretty well. Basically, I have the number of days and then what I've worked on. So, I've basically stitched every day. It seems to be working better than the other tracker because April I pretty much didn't get a chance to do. So this also helps me figure out what I gotta show you, make sure I'm in the right spot. But I have noticed in 3 of my starts, calling it 3 of my starts, because now 2 of my starts for sure, I had to switch the fabric around because I didn't like how the color was popping on it, and I'd have to substitute. And I really don't want to substitute. I want to stick to the pattern color. I mean, if I'm going to substitute, I'm not going to do the variegated. I'm going to do the DMC. So with that being in mind, I'll try to fill in my life and all that good stuff. So on to the stitching. May 1st, we started by Cloud's Factory, the Super Mario extended version. This is as far as I got. Now I noticed that the white pops up a lot in here. So I'm tempted to frog this little tiny bit that I did and switch it to a different project. And I think we'll talk about it a little bit more. Actually, what I'm thinking about it is I'm tempted to do SnowMen Trio. Let's take it out of the plastic, shouldn't I? Probably better. I'm thinking of doing SnowMen Trio by Cottage Needleworks, which is one of my new starts, which I started earlier this week, but I had to switch the fabric. And I'll explain why when I get to the pattern that I frogged, because that's coming up. So I'm going to hold this off to the side. So day 2, I worked on one of my Heaven and Earth design, a little light reading. This I'm actually working from the bottom up. So I'm working on from the right hand bottom up. And obviously it's a HAID, so it's confetti heavy. I know further up here it's not so confetti heavy. So this is what I got, just a little bit more. I haven't really got, for a while I was just working on this constantly. I think I burned myself out, so these other projects are really helping me get outside my comfort zone. Oh, which I forgot. So Super Mario was being stitched on 28 count Joblin in the Storm colorway by Hand Dyed by Stephanie, which is local to me. Right. I'm getting over a cold, so there might be more pausing in between while I cough, because I don't really want to cough on you guys in the video. It's just a little rude. Anyway. So the second day, so May 3rd, I started Mrs. Claus's Merry Outfits. And this is being stitched. Here I am. Alright, so this is being stitched on 28 count Lugana in properly primitive by Under the Sea fabrics. So Leslie did a really nice job of dyeing this. I really like this color. I'm probably going to order some more since it's a nice neutral. Concluded that I really like my neutrals. Colors, it is a little iffy on me. I actually had to restart this because the first time I did this, I did it in the wrong orientation, so I had to restart. So this is the restart, and I do have some beads on it. Let's see if I can get close enough. The gold beads here, and 2 red beads here. Now, the question I had for you people, everyone watching, is I knit this with a size 26 needle. And notice that some of the beads work, some of the beads don't. So my question, if you know, is if I am typically using a 26 count or a size 26 needle, what size? And these are. Hold on. So I am stitching this on the called for fabric. So I guess my question is, let's hope there's no beads floating around. These are, I don't even know what size beads these are, because it does not say on here. Okay, so the pattern called for these beads. So it's a Mill Hill glass seed beads. There's no size. Sometimes 26 count, size 26 needles work on 28 count or 14 count fabric. What size needle should I use? Should I get a 28 count, or should I go into my Mill Hill kit that I have and use that beading needle? Because that looks smaller. Because I think there I don't know what size needle I'm using, but I'm also using like 3 or 4 strands. So if anyone can tell me, please help. Alright, so that was May 3rd. I'm going to try to put this stuff back in, so pardon the crinkling. Alright. May 4th. Now, it's May 4th, right? There was no doubt in my mind that I'd be stitching on something Star Wars. It's May 4th. So, this I am considering my finish number 3 for 2017. So I actually started a project, started and had a new start and a finish on May 4th. So last August when we were driving to Wisconsin, I started this. So this is it. It's the Rebel X-Wing by Dinosaur Spaceship on Etsy. So I finished that. And then I started the Death Star. So I think in the there was 6 patterns that I bought in this set. I'm doing 5 of them, and they're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically. It's going to be 2 from the Resistance, 2 from the Empire, and of course, you can't be complete without the Death Star. So, and then this is going to be a gift for my brother, which I don't think he knows that I do floss tube. I don't think anyone in my family outside my 2 boys at home, meaning my hubby and my son, know that I do this. So I did show my sister-in-law, but I don't think she realizes that this is supposed to be a gift. She just thought I was doing it since I do like Star Wars, but my brother is a huge Star Wars fan. So that was on May 4th. And I think that was when I was also working on Mrs. Claus. So I actually worked on 3 projects that day. Alright, so Friday, May 5th. I worked on 8-bit stitches, Hello Kitty Sal. Hopefully, I didn't start the Hello Kitty too far south. This project is too far gone for me to frog, unlike the other ones, because Hello Kitty's done and I'm filling her in. And then these are 2 other lesser known Sanrio characters, which basically I'm trying to do the outline because both of these are filled in white. So there's lots and lots of white. So I'm trying to fill this in. My thought was to take this with me when I go on my test trip, because if it's white, I can just fill it in. If I get all, like, if I fill in the color, like, I can fill this in, and fill this in, fill some, do some of this. It's not that difficult if I'm just filling in a solid color. But I think I might get bored. So this is probably not going to come with. So this is what I worked on. And I worked on this for a couple days. Oh. What is wrong? I haven't stitched every day this week. Well, I've stitched. I've worked on projects. But, so anyway, this is 8-bit stitch. This is also an under the sea fabrics. This is in a 32 count Joblin called in the Looking Glass colorway, which I like the color. I'm really impressed with the fabrics that I've gotten from Leslie. And I definitely will order more, especially that Properly Primitive. I love it. Okay, so this brings us up to day 7. Now, day 7, we had lunch, and then I decided that I really didn't feel like stitching, but felt like knitting for some reason. Probably because I was watching Steve and Callie from Leading One Fiber. So I dug out Jack's Fall Line, which is a pattern by Ann Hansen, and I did probably, if I remember correctly, like another row. So probably like from this gray here to here. I don't have a stitch marker on here. And so that is what I did. Just really quick. It was kind of nice to be knitting again. It's been a while since I've knitted, so that was nice to do. Alrighty. And I find that if I'm listening to, like, I think when I'm stitching or I'm knitting, I actually like listening to audiobooks. So I've been listening to Stephanie Lawrence, A Lady by Her Side, which is it's like the next generation. It's like it's the first book in a new trilogy, but it is basically it's the second generation of all the Sinister children. And so it's nice, and I'm almost done listening to it. I read the book. So for her, I bought the book and bought the audio version, and then her new book came out on Thursday, and I also bought the audiobook. So I have two versions of it. So I'm actually enjoying it because I'm not listening to the audiobook until I read the book, because I kind of want to read it and then listen to it, because when I've noticed that when I re-listen to books, I pick up on a little bit of nuances. So that's it. That was Sunday. All right, take a sip. Okay. Now this week this is this week's. I've been a little more magnanimous. Most of the time I'm on my reading kick. So I've also read 2 other books that I want to talk about. 3 other books. No, I think I talked about. So 2 other books I want to talk about. One is called Faking It by, I believe it's Carly Phillips and Erica Wilde together, which is really good. And then the other one is Carly Phillips Going Deep, which is the 4th in her series. It was supposed to be a trilogy, but then these characters just called for another character, so I read that. And then the other one that I read is Taken by a Trillionaire, which is, I think, J.S. Scott, and then 2 other authors, and I apologize if I don't have it, but they were also, so all 3 of these are definitely more alpha male, definitely strong men. They're not, and obviously equally, at least these are modern, contemporary, and they're definitely stronger men, definitely more take charge kind of guys. Definitely some hot scenes here. I mean, it's romance, right? It's definitely hotter. And I did start reading the new Amanda Quick book, which takes place in the 1930s, called The Girl Who Knew Too Much. So I'm halfway through that, and I'm really enjoying that too. That one I think will be interesting. It's a different time period than her, because Amanda Quick is normally historical, so it's normally like 1800s. This one's taking place right after, like in the 1930s, which is interesting because you've got guns, you've got phones. There's still that women are a little more modernized, but because I'm like probably, the funny thing with this is I'm probably a decent way through the book, and there hasn't been much romance. I mean, there's definitely, I feel it's like she's taking a little long. I mean, definitely there's chemistry between the main characters. There's the build up. So I'm actually enjoying it. Definitely telling that there's chemistry. Definitely know it's going to happen, and I think I'm within pages of it happening. So in that sense, I'm enjoying that book. So I'll tell you more about it next time if I remember. But I probably will be listing it. So this is probably a good segue, since I'm almost done with my stuff. I'm definitely going to be, hopefully been starting to link my YouTube videos and putting all my show notes onto a blog. So hopefully the blog will go live soon. I probably think I'm going to do it at the end of the month, because I've been putting in what I've been working on and with pictures, and I probably should put some thoughts on there, kind of like show notes, project notes kind of thing in there. So if I get more chances, I'll probably definitely pop it in and make it live and think of different series to do, because I definitely, anyway, we'll segment into that next. Okay, so I talked about my SnowMen trio because I originally tried to do it on Toasted Almond by Hand Dyed by Sophie. So this is what the color, I'm in the process of frogging it. Oh, cold. It just wasn't popping, and there's so much white in it that I couldn't, I couldn't do the pattern justice. But I did finish, which I started on the 8th and pretty much worked on all week, was Christmas Cookies by Country Cottage Needleworks. Now, as much as I believe last time I called myself a pumpkin addict, but I think with Country Cottage Needleworks, definitely have a problem as well, because I think most of the time, if I'm not stitching on a pumpkin pattern, a frosted pumpkin pattern, I'm doing a Country Cottage Needleworks. I love it. I definitely got her new Main Street pattern, and I'm working on Sheep in the Meadow from her too, and I keep seeing new things that she's posting, and I'm like, gotta get it. So I think I have a problem. I think I'm also in the Country Cottage Needleworks Addicts Anonymous as well. Anyway, obviously, because basically all week this week I've been working on something Country Cottage Needleworks. Last week is a little more mixed, but anyway, so this is Christmas cookies, and then I also did maybe like a dozen stitches on Country Cottage Needleworks, Santa's Village, Mrs. Claus's cookie shop. I think that's what it is. No, you can't. It's one of those. Sorry, way up close to the side. I'm like, I'll just stitch some more while I'm talking to you guys. I'm gonna try this because we're now in the chatting portion. I have two more things to show you. So, last time I showed you like my stitching on the go, like what little bags I organize and keep my projects. So, what I've been taking this week, because I have a giant tote bag, is this yarn pop bag, and I can't remember which one it's called. Did I find a piece? Is there something in? More floss. Probably will. Hold on, putting it away. Pretty sure it probably just goes in here. Anyway, so this is one of their larger bags, because you can see you can put 3 threads in here. But this is actually working. It kind of reminded me of Vanna's project folders, because it basically can just flat fold over. So this was carrying SnowMen trio, as well as my Santa Village, my other yarn pop. So I really like yarn pop, and this is not sponsored by yarn pop whatsoever. So this is the company, and it's made in the US. I love this pattern. I don't know if it's discontinued or not, but and I found out you can buy them. You can get them at Amazon now. So cool. Anyway. So those are the gadgety. Those are how I'm doing the organizational stuff. I lost track of what I was going to talk about. Anyway, that's fine, because I'll probably remember it later. So Monday, I'm going on a test trip. So I'm definitely taking Frosted Pumpkin's Sweetest Pie, because that comes out on May 15th. I think I'm going to take one other little project that I can either stitch on in the car really easily, or just something else, just to balance it out. Something tiny, because actually this time I might actually be driving more. Last time I lost my offsell, so I don't have, because before I wouldn't have to drive, but this time I'm going to have to, at least from Michigan to New Jersey, where we're staying, which is just outside of New York City, we're staying in a hotel, but it's actually supposed to be really cool. So maybe I'll try to vlog. Who knows? Anyway, that's what I was going to talk about. So this is the third time that my group has gone to New York City for testing. I've taken a ton of pictures, 2 times. I'll probably take a bunch of pictures this time. I have yet to put it into an album. So I'm probably going to I'm going to try to at least get all the pictures printed. I do know that it's going to be in a 6x8 album, or 9x12. I haven't figured that out, because I have the album downstairs. Well, I started in a smaller album, so I haven't figured it out yet. Could do it in 6x12, I could do it in a 6x12. I think I have everything right now in an 6x8. I think I might stick with that size. That sounds. It's gonna be definitely pocket page. I'm gonna force myself to do pocket pages. Keeping it simple, not doing a traditional scrapbook, just to push myself to do something different. And so I'll try to do a video on that, or a video series on it, and getting the pictures. Trying to, because what I'm gonna do is everything is gonna be printed out 4x6, but with the Project Life app, I can actually fit 2 or 4 pictures in that 4x6, so I can play with it a little bit more and include journaling and all that stuff. So that is my plan, to figure out how to play with it and do different things and do more hybrid stuff so I can still be creative and trying to get myself to do it, because I keep watching Allie Edwards and I love watching Allie. So I love watching Allie Edwards videos, and she inspires me to want to try to do Project Life again. Of course, I'm also looking at all the new features on the Project Life app, so getting sucked back in, but I'm trying to remember that that's, you know, the basic principle of Project Life is just to document those stories, capture those moments, and I need to get I think I need to do a better job of making time to scrapbook. I've made a lot of time to stitch. I'm starting to work my knitting back in, and just want to try to balance those three things out. So I think I've rambled on long enough. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and I hope everyone has a stitchy time until the next time I talk to you. And that's pretty much it. And I just, with MAynia, it's having fun, and I have whips, and I'm not doing it for 17 days. I'm doing it for the whole month. I'm actually pushing myself to do 17 projects. Now, I've concluded that's 17 stitching projects. If I can throw other stuff in, I'm okay with that. It's the cool thing about Stitch MAynia and the Facebook group is it's very flexible. We can adjust, and if you can make it work for whatever stitching style it is, it works for that. If it hasn't happened to be on that day, that's totally cool as well. So anyway, for all the moms and grandmothers and out there, happy Mother's Day. That includes moms of four-legged babies, because I keep teasing one of my coworkers that she has the most kids, and the fact that she has a dog, 3 goats, and some cats, she has the most kids. Anyway, so with that said in mind, happy stitching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!